So, good afternoon, everyone, on this Martin Luther King Day. Welcome. We're glad you're here. We're glad that you chose to spend your time with us this afternoon. And on behalf of Black Girls Do Bike and, of course, Knox Academy, we want to thank you for showing up and being part of this conversation. For those of you who are new to Black Girls Do Bike, just a little history. We began over a decade ago now with a really simple goal, which was to create space for women to ride, to connect, and to feel like they belong. And what started as a small grassroots movement or effort has grown into a national community. And the heart of the work that we do has always remained the same, which is spread joy and be visible and collectively care for one another. And I think we're accomplishing that. And then Knox Academy is an extension of that mission. So it's where we're going to focus on leadership, education, understanding the history that shapes our movement. And basically, we want to move forward and help folks learn with a purpose. And that's what we're going to do. And that's part of the reason that we're here this afternoon. So today we're going to honor Kittie Knox, and she's a historical figure, but not just that, she's also a trailblazer whose presence in the cycling community around race, gender, and belonging has really challenged expectations. She rode at a time when it wasn't really popular. It was an act of courage, really, to get on your bike. And her story continues to resonate with me, and I hope it will also resonate with you all as female riders, as lady riders. So we're grateful for the filmmakers and the storytellers behind this story to join us today. And with that, I am going to introduce you all to our host for the afternoon, Diana Hildebrand, who will guide us through our conversation. So thank you again and welcome.
Thank you, Monica, and good afternoon, everyone from wherever you are in the great land of the U.S. and beyond. My name is Diana Hildebrand. I am the founder of the Knox Academy, DVD Cycling. I'm also a national coach with the League of American Bicyclists and the education director at Bike Cleveland. And I'm honored today to host this conversation, Cycling with the Ghost of Kittie Knox. This is a women-led documentary project that explores the life and legacy of Kittie Knox, a cyclist who's challenged race, gender, and access more than 100 years ago. This documentary also asks a powerful question. How does Kittie Knox's spirit still ride with women today? Tonight's conversation brings together the women who envisioned this documentary, the women helping bring it to life, and the women who represent Kittie Knox in today's time. Before we begin, I want to briefly introduce our panel. I'd like to begin with Nancy Rosenblum. Nancy has been a television editor for well over 30 years and has cut nearly every genre imaginable: news, reality television, documentaries, and narrative films. She has won 10 Los Angeles Emmy Awards for editing long-form documentaries, and she brings in an extraordinary depth of experience and storytelling craft to this work. Nancy is now combining her passion for storytelling, filmmaking, cycling, and the legacy of Kittie Knox to develop the documentary Cycling with the Ghost of Kittie Knox. We are honored to have her vision guiding this project. We're also joined by Anjanette, the producer helping bring this document to life. As you just heard, Monica Garrison, founder of Black Girls Do Bike, whose work has elevated and connected Black women cyclists around the world. And finally, we are joined by Khadisha Prawl, Melanie Morris, and Gail Lewis. Three women who, let's clock it here, who represents Kittie Knox in today's world. Through their lived experience and cycling journey. I also join you tonight as both your host and the founder of Kittie Knox, and educating the leadership development program inspired by Kittie Knox legacy. Kittie Knox lived inside all of us women who pushed them pedals and put those wheels on the ground. I also want to be transparent. This documentary is still in creation, and we are here to share the story, introduce the vision, and invite you to help move this project forward. Throughout the hour, I'll be asking questions, some directed to specific panelists, and some open to everyone. The conversation may move organically. So let's begin by grounding ourselves in the story of Kittie Knox. Nancy, I'd like to start with you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I want to thank you all for being here. It's really moving to be in the company of people that love to cycle and people that love Kittie Knox. And so thank you all. I'm hoping that we can start out by showing the trailer, and that might spur a little discussion. And yeah. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
She was completely a badass. She broke barriers for myself.
I want to be a part of telling Kittie's story because she was an inspirational person in my life. I often think of the racism and sexism that she endured while on two wheels.
She was certainly a young woman of persistence, not only in the social sphere in terms of protesting against the League of American Wheelmen's color bar, but also simply being out on the road on some of the century rides.
I could not imagine how much she had to deal with during the time that she was riding. Segregation was alive and well. Where did you stay? Where were you allowed to eat? What inspired her to continue to do what she did in spite of all of that?
I want to be a part of telling Kittie's story because if Kittie could get through tough times, I can get through tough times.
Looking forward to being a part of this documentary. Kittie's story was so inspiring to me, and not just as a cyclist, but as an African American female who has faced some racism and discrimination as well.
So Nancy, how did you first discover Kittie Knox, and what about her story stopped you in your tracks to make you want to create something this amazing?
Well, thank you. I discovered Kittie in Bicycling Magazine about 3 years ago. There was a story on her, and I said, oh my God, I have to make a movie about this unsung hero. I mean, she just spoke to me passionately through that article. And I immediately started doing tons of research on her. I connected with the gentleman that wrote, the book, Boston Cycling's Craze, 1880 to 1900, Lorenz Finneson, which is all about Kittie. And she spoke to me also as an outsider. Full reveal, I'm a Jewish lesbian, and I know how it feels to be ridiculed, put in a box, discriminated against, shouted nasty words at, and having to fight for my place to belong on the planet. So, and I'm an avid cyclist, and so was she. I don't know. She spoke to me in so many ways. I like to call her a taboo busting cyclist. I mean, talk about she challenged every norm of the 1890s. You know, women were riding in long skirts, not Kittie. Kitte was riding in an outfit that she sewed herself. You may all be familiar with it, kind of jodhpurs and a coat and a cap. And she did that so that she could ride long distances because she said, I'm not wearing a skirt. Where can I go in a skirt? I'm not going around the block. I'm going 100 miles. And she was also known as a scorcher, which at that time was the term for a fast rider. So she was known for her speed. Oh, thank you for those. And yeah, she kind of became the talk of the town then. And as we all know, a hero today. So gotta love Kitte.
Yeah, she inspired so much amongst so many women, and learning about Kittie Knox. That's why I ride 100 miles. That's why I offer 100-mile bike rides. If you don't know, she was one of the first women to actually do something like that.
And she did it on a single speed bike.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine, like, through dirt and through everything? They didn't have the luxury of like completely paved streets like we do, and not to mention gears.
Correct. The bicycles were still evolving back then,
Yes.
compared to what we have now. It's so amazing. Can't wait to have her bicycle in a museum or something. So, Nancy and Jeanette, what do you hope to accomplish with this documentary?
Well, for me, I not only hope to shine a legacy on Kitte and have people admire and know who she is, as well as the contemporary Black writers, Khadisha, Melanie, and Gail, who have also been inspired by Kitte's legacy. But I kind of also want this documentary to inspire people to get on their bikes and ride. I mean, there's kind of a bicycling boom now, like there was in the 1890s. And I feel like with the electric bike, I mean, like, there's no excuse, people. Let's move. Let's feel the wind in our face.
Yes, and also it's about representation, which is what Nancy is alluding to. It's like, what does it mean to see yourself out there, especially in a time when our history is being actively erased? And so, and then also, you know, also I am seeing people, and myself included, like backsliding, but as someone who was active or has been active, but also we have whole generations who are not active. They are on their computers, they're on their phones, like given any amount of downtime, they like whip out their phones, right? As opposed to like moving their bodies, even dancing, like all of this is like not happening. So I think also to show people that this is something that they can do. It is, fairly easy. Most people have learned it. And supposedly you can get back on a bike any old time you want to, and you will remember how to do it. So those are the things that we are wanting to do. And then, of course, highlight someone who is, a trailblazer, which we stand on her shoulders and, can see ourselves as well, moving forward. Um, Pun intended. Yes.
I love it. So for Gail, Khadisha, and Melanie, my question to you ladies is, how does Kittie Knox legacy connect to the work you do today, professionally, personally, or within your community?
Well, I'll start. Melanie, I am the leader of the Yellow Jackets, founder of the Yellow Jackets Cycling Group, which I actually founded in 1999 out of Rochester, New York. I later moved to Boston, and I've got a new chapter in Boston. And I'm also an admin for the Black Cyclist page, where It took us 10 years to get to 10,000 members. This is on Facebook. And during COVID, we got 10,000 members in 1 year. So I do think of Kitty Knox because I want everybody to come cycle, but especially people of color. We need to move, we need to exercise. And sometimes people think I can't do this. Oh, So when I lead rides, I never tell people we're going to go 17 miles on my beginner rides. I just tell them we're going to ride for 2 hours. And they're like, oh, yeah, I can ride for 2 hours. But if you tell people 17 miles, then they're like, oh my God, I can't do 17 miles. So I do think that Kitty has inspired me to get the word and get the sport of cycling out there to people of color and try to bring in and recruit as many people as I can. And I would encourage you all, the Black Cyclists, we're on Facebook. We're 27,000 deep now. So if you're not a member, please come on and ask to join.
And I will just piggyback on what Melanie just said. I think when I first heard about Kitty Knox, it was just so inspiring to me. Here's this African American woman in 1800s, 1890s, riding a bicycle with people who didn't want her to participate. And a lot of that, I think Anjanette said earlier, is like we're feeling that sense of people don't want you to belong. And so Kitty Knox for me was just such an inspiration. I was like, if she can ride and she can, show up in these spaces where it's Black women should not be, then so can I. And just cycling in itself, I think, like Mel said, it is a joy to be on a bike. It's one of the easiest things you can do, is to hop on a bike, and it's for everybody of all ages. It's not just young people. Cycling is for everybody, and it is so good for the body, for the mental health, for all of it. So yeah, Kitty Knox was a huge inspiration for me, definitely.
Yeah, I share the same sentiments. I started writing in 2020 during the COVID lockdowns. And it was in my research, just looking for just to be safer on the roads, that I learned about Kitty Knox. And honestly, I was surprised. I didn't know about her before. And what I learned over the time was that I was kind of disappointed that I didn't know who she was beforehand. And so for me, that's what made me want to be a part of this documentary, is to have the opportunity to share her story, because I think it's an important story that young girls should know about. They should know her name and know of her legacy.
Of that. And just to expound on that, Kadisha, what was one of the most surprising or powerful things you uncovered about Kitty Knox during your process of learning about her, being a part of this documentary? Tell us about it. Tell us some more.
Yeah, so of course we kind of know her story, but what was most surprising to me was that she passed away very young, at a very young age. She was 26 years old. And so what was most amazing to me was that how much she was able to accomplish in such a short time on this earth. That's kind of what keeps me grounded and keeps me going too, is that she was able to accomplish a lot. And it's kind of like no excuses. We got
Mhm.
to maximize on each day and live each day as though there isn't another, and just keep moving forward.
Nice. I love that. Nancy and Anjanette, visually the documentary blends archival images, interviews, and present day writing. What is helping you shape or guide your creative choices with this documentary?
I think the story, I mean, sorry,
No,
Nancy.
go for it.
Okay, all right. So yeah, certainly the story leads. So in telling any story, all of us are storytellers. When we give gossip, we are telling stories, right? It is in a certain structure. And so those are the things that lead us. Um, you know, uh, and then also in terms of what we're able to do. Um, there are new tools out there that help with efficiency and help with costs. And I'm speaking, like, I don't mean to be opaque, but we're talking about animation, those kinds of things. And so that's all very helpful. But it's the story that leads. But I think also because we're also folding in present day, you know, people, like real life people. And so their stories, who are here. I'm like, I don't know why I'm talking about them like there's like some other place, but their stories are, what will drive the film. But yeah, so that's what I would say. And that's always the case in any kind of film or storytelling. Yeah.
Okay.
What she said.
Beautiful, Nancy. So, from a producer perspective, why does Kittie Knox story deserves to be in a documentary, not just a book or an archive? Now we know Lorenzo done his job and his work, but why haven't you ladies? Why are you ladies putting this into a film? I'm going to tell you first and foremost. I'm excited to have this on the film. This is going to be history making, groundbreaking. Kittie Knox deserves her flowers. She deserves every single flower that is out there that we can place on her tombstone, on her family house, where she was born,
Right.
Boston, matter of fact. She was born in Boston, passed away in Boston. But like just spreading a word about her and letting people know, like, she was the first.
Yeah.
She broke so many barriers for us. And she was that woman who didn't take no for an answer. And I feel like I embody that. Like, you can't tell me no. Okay. I'm going to come back in a different way and present it to you in a more loving manner, since obviously the first way I came to you was a little too rough and too harsh. but that's how I feel like I embody Kittie Knox. So yeah. Why not have it on the film? Why not put it in a book? Give me some direction on that.
I think it's going to be a great visual story. And I think a movie will reach more people. I've got a grassroots campaign planned, aside from just theatrical and hopefully ESPN and maybe even PBS. I think getting it to be shown through bicycling organizations and clubs is really important, kind of for impact and getting more people to know Kittie. And I mean, a little bit of her history. Probably everybody knows she had a Black father and a white mother. She actually lived in Cambridge, at the time was a very immigrant-filled neighborhood. There were lots of different races living together, lots of different cultures. And for a brief moment, discrimination was more of a sideline, partly because of the cycling boom that was also happening. However, as we all know, that just didn't last very long. And Kittie really, really fought racism. She went up against the League of American Wheelmen, which was had a color bar at the time. And she said, no, I'm joining. And she had some advocates and she got into the League of American Wheelmen. And she just never stopped. She was like you, Diana. She never took no for an answer.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So Kittie Knox was born Catherine Tolley Knox, and from 1874 to 1900. And when you say she broke that color barrier, there was a meeting in Asbury, New Jersey, where she was going to the League of American Women meeting, and they denied her access at the door. And she was not going to stand by that. So, like
No.
Nancy said, she had advocates, the newspaper was coming, and she was going to let them know that I had this membership for a minute. You did not know what I look like. You didn't know that I was a woman, and now you're going to deny me after you already gave me access. Oh, HE double hockey sticks, no. She said, not me. And she challenged that. Um, and she also laid the groundwork for understanding cycling as empowerment for women and people of color. Um, and she's been honored in so many ways. There's a Kittie Knox bike path in Cambridge, Massachusetts. There's a Kittie Knox bike ride that I think Gail was on.
Can
Nancy.
I'm just going to interrupt you now that you brought it up. Actually, the Kittie Knox bike ride that's coming up on Juneteenth of this year, so June 19th from 3 to 8 p.m. There's a Kittie Knox bike trail that goes from Boston to Cambridge through areas where Kittie rode, and it ends up at her gravesite at Mount Auburn Cemetery. And it's just a fabulous ride. Kadisha went on it, Melanie went on it, and they could talk more about it. But if you're near Boston or can get to Boston, June 19th, it's going to be fabulous. It's just an awesome ride.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Gail, Kadisha, and Melanie, please expound on that amazing bike ride. How did it feel to ride in honor of a dope woman in this day and age, and being amongst other people who find her just as dope as we do?
Well, it is fantastic. I actually live in Boston, so I try to go as many years as I can. And actually, that's where I met Nancy. We remember Nancy. That's where we met at a Kittie Knox ride.
And I met Kadisha there.
Yeah, that's right.
And let me say this, the Kittie Knox ride starts at Mount Auburn Cemetery, where Kittie Knox is buried. Before 2013, she was in an unmarked grave. And with Lawrence's help, the author of the book, he contacted Mount Auburn Cemetery and to let them know about Kittie Knox. And as time went on, this was before 2013, as time went on, Mount Auburn Cemetery. Kittie Knox is now buried in Mount Auburn Cemetery, and there was an unveiling of her gravesite there in 2013. So the ride usually starts and ends where Kittie Knox is buried. And Kittie Knox has cousins. She's got a cousin that usually comes. Oh, there she is right there on the screen. She's got a cousin that usually comes every year for the ride. It's a phenomenal ride. I've been a ride leader before. And one thing I love about cycling is it includes everybody. Cycling is not just for one color, one size, one person. It's for everybody. And this ride, as long as it doesn't rain out, we had rain maybe a couple of years, and that's always a pain. As you know, as cyclists, it's always a pain when it rains on your ride. But if we can get a really good day, you get riders from all over, and people do come. I mean, Nancy was there from Canada. People do come from all over the country, and it's just a great time to retrace Kittie's steps and really take time for reflection on Kittie Knox.
That's so beautiful. And that leads me to my
I was
next
there doing, oops, sorry, I was on one of those rainy rides.
Yes.
But honestly, the during the ride, you embody Kittie Knox because you got to persevere, you got to get through it, and just being on the ride that rainy day, there were still a lot of folks there attending the ride and participating. It was, it was it's a special event. Yeah.
I'll never forget Kadisha. I felt so bad for Kadisha because it just poured and she was freezing. And she said,
rained.
It kind of made me feel like Kittie because like she rode in the rain and
yeah.
Rode in the rain on a single speed, probably didn't have all the gear that she needed.
Right. And let's tell our people here. Some people may know about Kittie Knox. You may have tuned in because you want to learn more about Kittie Knox. Kittie Knox she earned her living as a seamstress. And she did not want to wear skirts on a bike ride. They wanted women to wear skirts and everything. She wanted to wear pants. So you got to think, she's a seamstress. she's making her own stuff. She can make it look however she wants to look. And Kitty Knox rode a man's bike. They wanted women to ride women's bike, and Kitty Knox was like, no, 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 no. I'm going to wear my pants. I'm going to make my pants, wear my pants, and I'm going to ride a man's bike. Now that is what I call a
Yes.
badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chutzpah.
Yeah.
And she did it so she could ride longer and faster, you know. And yeah, thank you, Melanie.
But I also was just going to add that one of the things is that what frees her to be able to do that is because she's already a woman on the outside, right? So like in many ways, you're able to do things that are unconventional because nobody's really checking for you, you know? So then like when you pop up, it's like, oh, wait, what is she doing? But too late, too bad, so sad, right? So I think also she's also empowered by the fact that, you know, she's quote unquote flying under the radar, so to speak, right? Until she pops out and passes you by on the bike and winning races and whatnot. Then people are like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, wait, what is she wearing? I need some of those too. That must make her go faster.
I
I
also want to
mean,
mention there were what they called at that time costume contests on Martha's Vineyard, and where so you'd wear your bicycling kit and get judged, and she won. She won like every time. Yay,
yeah,
Kitty.
yay, Kitty. I mean, just to understand the story of her and how much context you lady bring to the table about Kitty Knox just lets the audience know how much we care about this woman, and how we truly embody her as a woman, a human being, a sister, a daughter, and to know that her family is still around and participating in these activities. And I know they're super honored. I mean, I'm gonna just start calling her my fake cousin. She's my cousin, okay? Period. But she encompasses every single one of us. Every single one of us, every single woman that's writing. And it just made me think about like when it did rain, what did those clothes really feel like? You know, she didn't have that lycra, she didn't have the spandex, she didn't have the high vis anything. But you also got to think like this woman was super strong. And she didn't go to the gym every single day like we did. She probably did calisthenics in her home. We don't know. But this lets you think like, wow, single speed, the evolution of the bicycle is still evolving. Um, and she was out there. Her legs must have been so beautiful. Okay. She had to be one super strong woman. And that's all I keep thinking about. Like this woman was strong in her own right. Um, so this leads me to my next question. If you had to tell the story, and this is for everyone, anybody can answer. If you had to tell the story to a young lady who's just getting started on riding and she's dropping that bike saying, I cannot do this. And you want to give her a powerful message about an awesome woman who rode through all adversities. What would you say to that young lady?
Well, I would probably tell her what I tell my cyclist. Um, Hills build character. No, I do tell my cyclist that, but I'd start off a little light. I just say I'd probably tell a young lady today is, cycling, first of all, when you start doing it, you're going to fall in love with it. And, if it gets a little hard or if you think you can't do it, there's this woman named Kittie Knox that I want to share with you. I would share some of Kittie's stories, maybe offer them a book on Kittie Knox and tell them to do research on Kittie Knox and just tell them to continue to persevere, to move forward. Because, like you were saying, Diana, I mean, the clothes she had on, you had to, like today we got dry fit, lycra, when I get caught in the rain, I'm mad. I can't even imagine being caught. I'm in Lycra and I'm mad. I can't even imagine, having all that heavy stuff on and having a heavy bike and being caught out there when it rains. It's like, what is going on? I would have said back then. But yeah, mainly the message would be to any young person today is to continue forward. And I would let them know no matter what you do in life, it's going to be hard. And one tidbit that I always use in any situation, especially cycling, if it were easy, then everybody would have it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. I think I echo that too with Melanie's, just that when I think about Kitty Knox, and if somebody today, like you said, if a young person comes up, a young female today, it's like, and especially a minority female, the African American female, we've always had barriers. We've always had barriers. We still have barriers. And what we do is we persevere and we come out on the other side stronger. And so Kitty Knox was that person. I again, like I said, I cannot imagine what she had to endure during that specific time period, as an African American female. So young people, if she could do this, you absolutely can do this. We can do hard things. You can do this. So yeah, I think I would definitely encourage them, like Mel said, get the book, read the book, hear the story, and then come out and do it. Let's
Watch the
persevere. Let's
movie.
keep showing up. Let's keep showing up. Let's keep showing up.
And also let me share this past summer in Boston, it's called Plays in Place. And Plays in Place in Boston did a story on Kitty Knox. And
Mhm.
what it was three different time periods in her life. And it was three different plays written by three different playwrights. They were all outdoors. Thank goodness there was great weather. There were like four days, four separate days, four weekends. It was outdoors and you had to move. You had to move from scene to scene. So the first scene was in one area, the second play was in the next area, and the third play was in the third area. And now what we're trying to do is Plays in Place, is they're putting together almost like a blueprint because this is something that can be repeated in any city across the nation and really any city across the world. You just need to get your actors, your actresses. The script is already written, and this will also help to get the story out about Kitty Knox. You see the pictures flashing up on the screen here. These were actual pictures from one of the Boston plays this summer, and it's really so. If you're in a theater or you know somebody who's in a theater, whether it's high school or one of your local theaters, they are putting together again a package so that Plays in Place, this Kitty Knox play, can be really seen across the country and across the world. And it's really a brilliant idea. And that was our Kitty Knox there, Miss Hampton, right there in blue. And they're riding the old school bikes, they're speaking the language, they have the clothes on, the old school clothes. So it was really, really riveting to be taken back to that time period in, last year in 2025. And it's well worth it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The Massachusetts Cycling Coalition is a really great link to check out.
And then also before we really end, I also wanted to shout out Tanisha Smith. She is a PhD candidate at Morgan State University. I met her um, at Oslo, which I think is like African Studies. Don't get me to lying about it, but we're literally chatting and she's telling me about her research, which is about women who were free in the 1800s. And I said, "Oh, well, wait a minute. Do you know who Kitty Knox is?" Boom, she knew all about her. So she's going to be one of our historians, you know. And this is, a young sister starting, studying at Morgan State University. And so for her to say, categorize what her research is about. For me to say, "Oh, do you know about this Kitty Knox woman?" And she knew all about her already. as someone who is it's her research is about mobility, freedom and mobility in the 1800s for Black women.
Mm,
She,
mm.
I was like, yes,
Amazing.
yes, give me your information.
Amazing.
Right. Well, and I guess if it's getting to, I do want to say the movie is in development, and I would love ideas from the audience about what you might want included in the movie that goes beyond Kitty Knox. What, topics might you want covered? What, I don't know, anything you think of, talking about outsiderness, talking about whatever moves you. I really want to hear from you. I mean, of course, Kitty Knox will be in the movie, and of course, Gail and Kadisha and Melanie will be, but beyond that, and my email, if you want to email me or put it in the chat, whatever easy, my email is kittyknoxmovie@gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you. And once again, I mean, I know it's not the end or anything, but I'm just so happy you're here. And I thank you so much. I thank Diana so much, and Jeanette and Monica. My God, Black Girls Do Bike, and Kadisha and Gail and all of you. Just moving me.
Aw, I'm glad we can do that for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think
Um,
the other thing is just to point out is that just like Nancy was saying, we are developing this film. We would really love to film, this summer, but we're still fundraising. We have a couple of applications out for grants or whatnot, but to get Nancy just from Canada. I'm already in Atlanta, so it's a little bit easier, but we are looking for funds or resources. Who over here is Delta who works for Delta? Come through.
Really. Maybe you have some air miles you want to donate.
Or somebody
Maybe,
passes. We
maybe you know
also accept
places
those.
we can stay in Boston. I don't know, but really, every penny helps, and your donations are all tax deductible. But more than that, it'll make you feel really good knowing that you're contributing to a movie that's going to tell your story. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So as we begin to close, I have one final question, and it's more of a reflective question. Um, if Kitty Knox were riding alongside of you today,
Oh,
what do you think you ladies will be talking about? Would y'all be talking about women cycling? Like, what do you think that conversation would be? Keep it nice and brief. We're close to the closing, but I just have to ask y'all that question because it's just in me right now.
Unfortunately, I'm out of shape, so I would be saying, could you hold up a little bit? Could you slow it down
Right,
a little
right,
bit?
right, right,
I'm trying to breathe and talk. Like
right.
it's, we're gonna need to do one or the other.
Uh,
Or I'm like, or at this hill, I'm like, you go on up and like just wait a little bit so I can see which way you turn because I'm gonna have to walk this one out. I'm gonna have to walk this one.
right. I think it would be stop showing me up on that fixie. Girl, stop. Stop.
really?
Get off that single speed. No, you know what? I think it would just be a conversation on cycling and the joy that it brings you. Just being outdoors, just pedaling. I because that's what it does for me. Like I said, it's better than any therapy I can sit down and talk. Being on a cycle is the best therapy ever. And it just helps me to clear my mind. So it's like, Kitty, come on, girl, what we doing? How far we going? How long you got? You know, let's just hit the trail and go. So I don't know. I don't know what the conversation, but we would be having a good time.
Yes, yes.
I
I
think, yeah, go ahead,
oh, you
Melanie.
go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, yes, no, I was going to say, I think, keep riding, keep going.
Yeah.
And so I think there's still many women that I would love to see get on a bicycle. But I think Kitty would be pleased. I think she'd be pleased. She'd be happy to see an increase in the number of Black women that are riding today. That her mission, her goal, she'd be happy to see the results for today. There are a lot more Black women, people of color, and females serving on the board of League of American Bicyclists. I served a couple of years back. So I think she'll be happy to see the changes there. It used to be the League of American Wheelmen. Now it's the League of American Bicyclists. So I think she'll be happy with what the league is doing today. And then she'd also be happy to see the organizations like Black Girls Do Bike, the Knox Academy, and it just shows how far we've come. So I think we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, I'm sure I'd say we've come so far, as she said. Can you believe it? We're in Lycra now. You can put you can put those pants, those
Right.
heavy, thick pants that you've been wearing. Girl, we're not wearing that. We're not doing that anymore. We in Lycra. We in shorty shorts.
Right.
Our bikes are like 14 pounds.
Right.
You want to
Right.
spend another 2, 3, 4, 5 grand, you can get it down to 10 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I would just talk about really how far we've come. And I would have one question for Kittie Knox. Did you know Major Taylor? Did you ever talk to Major Taylor? I think Lawrence Fittison is on this call and he's supposed to be researching that. And there's no one out there who can tie Kittie Knox to Major Taylor. And also, let me say this, there may be some people on who aren't avid cyclists or you just popped on today. If you're not an avid cyclist or if you're not a cyclist at all, get a bike. You will
Right.
not regret it. And you will come back and say, thank you. You'll
you.
thank this webinar. You'll thank Melanie. You'll thank Diana. You'll thank all of us. Get a bike because it's really, as Gail said, it just clears your mind. It can take your mental space to a different level. But yeah, so I would want to know from Kittie Knox, did she know Major Taylor? There's no readings or writings, or no one can answer that question yet. So by all means, Nancy, when you're doing your research, if you come across any reference between Kittie Knox and Major Taylor, please let Lawrence know because we are always looking for that. We are always looking for that.
Could you put up Lorenz's book? Lorenz, hi, I didn't know you were here. Mwah. Lorenz is my mentor and guide on everything Kittie. And I'm deeply indebted to his friendship and to this book. And he's written actually several books, but this book is really all about Kittie and the cycling craze of 1880 to 1900. And he's, I can't say enough. I can't give him enough accolades. He's really devoted his life to researching Kittie Knox, and everything we know about Kittie Knox probably stems from Lorenz. And so thank you. Thank
And
you.
let me say this, even if you're not a huge cycling buff, this is a great history book. And everybody should read this book, even though, let's say you're not riding 100 miles a week. Even if you're not riding at all, this is great for kids also. It's just a great book on history, on how big cycling was, before cars.
Yeah.
Cars messed us up kind of. And too bad I didn't think about putting bike lanes in back then.
And here's the thing, it was horse and buggies, then bicycles. There was no cars first. A lot of people think that the cars was first. No, so it was horse and buggy, then bicycles. All right. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're talking to your transportation director, or if you go to the League of American Bicyclists National Bike Summit in March and you go lobby on Wednesday and you talk to your state representative, help them understand that there were bikes before cars. And we need to put that back in our cities. Okay. Sorry. I went to the work mind. Sorry. So, ladies, I want to thank you so much. Is there any final words? We got about 2 more minutes for final words, final push, anything that you would like to say to our audience who are watching today?
Thank you for being here. Go to my the donation page if you would. Also support Black Girls Do Bike. We all know how important that organization is. I want to thank Black Girls Do Bike and the Knox Academy for sponsoring this amazing event. Monica, the work you put in, that's all I can say, takes my breath away. Don't have words for it. Yeah, and let's get this movie made with your support. Thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to say anything?
I can ditto all of that. I mean, thank Black Girls Do Bike. Thank Nancy for reaching out to us to let us be a part of this. Thank you so much. I'm honored and to be a part of such an historic, I guess, event documentary. So thank you for reaching out. Just thank you, thank you, ladies, for what you do, for showing up.
Yeah, likewise. I share the same sentiments, and I hope the movie. I hope Kitty Knox's name is more known to a wider audience, and that young girls will reference her when they think of someone courageous, someone bold, and to represent positive change.
I agree with Khadijah. We want Kitty Knox's name and Major Taylor's name to be like, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, Jack Johnson. We need Kitty Knox's name to be right up there with those. And thank you very much for reaching out to me. I'm very super honored to be a part of this project as well. It's just great. It's great. So, Nancy, I sent you a text message. I don't know if you're going to do that, what we talked about yesterday. You haven't mentioned it yet, so please read my message. I don't want to give it away if you're not going to do it. But it's okay if you change your mind. But anyhow, I'm going to let Deanna
You
go.
mean about the hat? I don't see a text message.
Yes, yes.
So for all
I wasn't
of
sure. You
you,
didn't mention it.
I have three. Oh, there, it's kind of losing it, but
If you go to one,
Keep it centered.
I have three Kitty Knox hats. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Three Kitty Knox hats that I would love to give to the first three people that give the biggest donation. Just yeah, go to the website and and if you go to the website where you can fill in your information, just put in your name and mailing address. Yeah. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you. Those hats look amazing. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you all on the panel for your honesty, courage, and vision. Nancy Rosenblum, Gail Lewis, Khadijah Prawl, Melanie Morris, Anjanette Lavert, Monica Garrison, and I'm Diana Hildebrand. Kitty Knox rode during a time when the world told her she did not belong, and she rode anyways. This documentary ensures that her story does not fade and that women today continue to ride, lead, and take up space. Sis, thank you for being a part of this conversation. Thank you for supporting this work. And thank you for helping us carry Kitty Knox's legacy forward. I look so forward to falling into another discussion talking about the progress of this documentary.
Yes.
And elaborating a little bit more, even inviting Lorenzo to the conversation. He's a great historian and he is truly passionate about Kitty Knox. So thank you everyone for coming and attending this webinar. Monica, do we have time for a few Q&As? Got about 5 more minutes.
There are questions in there.
There are no questions?
There are.
Let's answer some questions.
Let's do like one. Let's do one good one.
Do we have to end exactly at 2?
So weird thing is I can't see the chat, so you all grab a question out of there. Sorry.
Okay.
I can't see the chat either.
It says, I see a question that says, maybe this is in the movie already, but where did Kitty Knox' strength, defiance, gumption come from?
Okay.
Um, and it says, I'm just going to read a couple. I read somewhere that she placed in the top 20% of every event consistently. What a force of nature, amazing woman. What is and somebody asked, what is the Kitty Knox Community Cycle Center in Cambridge? Is this a part of the Knox Academy?
Hmm.
So those are
I
the
don't know. I see one about Aisha McGowan, though, and in
right.
fact, she does know about Kitty, and she has a scholarship that that's called the Kitty Knox Scholarship. So
So,
Aisha McGowan definitely knows about her. If
so
anybody knows Aisha McGowan and can get me in touch with her, I've tried and tried and tried, but she's really got her own brand and her own people, and she's
well,
amazing.
so Aisha is across seas. She is no longer in the States. In regards to Aisha McGowan, she actually won the Kitty Knox Award with the League of American Bicyclists. I want to say, don't quote me, but in sometime in the early 2000s. And the scholarship that she offers is for her for women who want to get out there and start racing. It can be your first time, but she just want to expose women to the racing world. So that's where that scholarship comes in place. And um all of us women of color who is trying to do a major big things, even the women on this panel, always are interested in funding and things like that. But you have been asked to reach out to the Divine Nine Black Greek sorority to partner with screening, Nancy
Oh,
and Jeanette.
oh,
Yes,
Yes.
they
And
they are a hard nut to crack. I've worked on several films before, and Divine Nine are very protective of their members.
thank you.
So we will always try, but that's been my experience in the past. Not at least nationally, but locally, that's possible. Absolutely. Thank you so much for whoever put that in there.
yes. Susan asks, maybe this in the movie. It's not in the movie. This is the first movie or documentary about Kitty Knox. There are books by Mr. Lorenzo. I'm coming up short on the last name.
Lorenz Finnison.
Lorenz Finnison. And he has several books out, but there has not been a true documentary made for Kitty Knox. Suzanne Nolmark, thank you for that question. The Kitty Knox Community Cycle Center is not a part of the Knox Academy. The Knox Academy is a leadership or an education opportunity under Black Girls Do Bike. If you know anyone who is interested in being part of the Knox Academy, please reach out to us. I am Diana or Diva D Cycling at gmail.com, or you can reach out to Monica at blackgirlsdobike.org, and we can get you information about the Knox Academy.
And please, for all your suggestions to the movie, whatever, once again, kittyknoxmovie@gmail.com is my email. I would love to hear from you. And the website is cyclingwiththeghostofkittyknox.com, and you can donate from there. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah.
So in the last 2 minutes, once again, I would like to thank everybody who have participated in this conversation with us, celebrating the history of Kitty Knox. And I am so looking forward to this documentary being something. It's already something. It's going to be major, and it's going to win an Emmy or whatever it's going to win. We're going to be there in the building
From
with
your
with
lips to
our
God's
bicycles.
ears.
It's
Yes,
going to be
yes.
there, and I'm putting it out there, ladies. This is such an amazing opportunity to spread the joy of an amazing woman who, if it wasn't for us looking to her, wanting to spread her name, get her name out there, she will be lost in the masses. And so we have to represent in all shapes and form, either on 2 wheels, 2 feet, but we definitely have to continue to uplift this woman's name, to be a part of our forever changing history. and who she is. And we are part of that ghost. We are the spirit of Kittie Knox. And if you didn't know that you were the spirit of Kittie Knox, I hope today let you know that you are a part of that. My name is Diana Hildebrand, and thank you to everybody a part of this panel. Kittie Knox, the Knox Academy, Black Girls Do Bike, and the Cycling with Kittie Knox, and the three amazing women who are embodying who Kittie Knox is today. I greatly, greatly appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and I look forward to our next webinar to talk about the updates about the documentary and maybe get an extra glimpse of what's happening. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank
Alrighty,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Diana.
Thank you, Diana. You're a marvel.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. This was incredibly powerful.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
I learned some things myself, which was pretty cool. Um, Thank you all for being a part of the conversation, for sharing your stories, for sharing Kittie's stories. And I just want everyone to know that your presence matters. That's for the panel and for those who have joined us. And let's stay connected and continue to support one another. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome, awesome,
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Honor, thank you so much.